Hello everyone, I'm Rob Smith of the Smiths in the Black Channel here at Ticker Talker with the Strat Time Report, and we got a few things going on here. A little bit of a gap and sit for some things, stalling out. You do have the SPY doing this though. However, let's take a look here. SPY, here you can see this inside on the 60 in the lower left. So for the last 2 hours we've been in the opening range, however holding gains, and you can see still in the upper left. All right, still taking out yesterday's highs, still taking out last week's highs in the middle. So we're still slowly but surely driving higher. But what we're going to want to know about here in the lower left, I'll blow it up for you a little bit more. Either side of this stuff, right here, these two in here, either side of that, do we go into the highs or do we start to fail and come back? Because we've got a little bit of a divergence going on with the Qs here, and you can see the Qs on the daily, still an inside day. Right, so that's a little bit of an issue. You do have, you can still have time frame continuity, which I mean by this. Well, actually, you're going to be in conflict. You see this on the weekly is red, right, and now you're in inside day equilibrium. So in order to change that, we would want to see maybe tomorrow. So we want to see if you can get out of there, not being inside day. But that's definitely happening, and that's stalling some things out. What we did have was a little gooser here for Qualcomm news coming up. And you just got this spike helping that. And so one of the things you look for when something's doing this is multiple time frame analysis again, right? Here's your green in the upper middle. Here's your green in the lower middle. That's your weekly and your monthly. And then as the daily up in the upper left starts going here, right? We know outside bars exist. You can see it pokes down, then starts getting some gooser news here. Guess where it's going? It's going to take out the other side of this because we know outside bars exist. So it's got a little bit more if they want to take this out, but it could just be a big, quick, newsy flash because we're kind of watching that to see if we can get these semiconductors going. And SMH here, you can see this, not quite an inside day, but you can see these 2 days just stuck right where the opening and close are here in the upper left, right? And doji on the week here on the second day. So the hopes here was down the lower left that you get this outside inside pattern to go, and now you got 2 hours stuck in here. So a lot of things like that just getting stuck. So we really need to see these futures break one way or the other and get some things shaken up. Also had some quick news here. I want to see what's going on here. STNE, Stein. So Stein here, Stone Co. You can see that news comes out, starts ripping up in here. So you can see the slight higher highs up into here. You can see in the upper left, as soon as it goes green and starts racing through here, we're going to take out that, which it already did, so we'll see what comes of that. We did have some of the transports coming up here, a little bit. Like I said, a lot of things stalling out. Union Pacific had a nice opening and then starts to come back in here. But we're watching stuff like this because we know in the middle here, the lower middle, it's an inside month to the upside, just like the transports themselves here. And that tells us we want to keep an eye on those transports, all right? But you can see here, IYT inside stuck in its opening range, like a lot of things. Let me see, I'm going to write something down here. So you want to be aware of that, and that's why you get these stalls if we can't get out of here. Let's see, how's Union Pack doing? Union Pack comes in like that, CSX. And CSX, here's one of the things you look for combinations when we're always saying, what's the next two? What this create, negate, or do, and going down the road. So if you go into upper middle, you're going to see this. You're going to see this right here. We talked about this. Take out one side, take out the other, hammer counter shooter, and the weekly just goes up a little bit because we wanted to complete this to become an outside bar of that, which it did this week, right? And if that works and it keeps going, then you go to the lower middle, and just like the transports, it's an inside month to the upside. So that tells us we can keep an eye on these rails a bit. You also have in the trade car, believe it or not, Avis, and you can see now it had a nice few hours here. Now I'm going to consolidate maybe, but once again here, if you go to the upper middle, you can see the outside week, slight lower low, and then this week it comes back to become an outside bar of all that, right? That's a 3, 2, 2 up in there. And if that works, what does that do? Go to lower middle. You got an inside month to the upside with the transport. So keep an eye on stuff like that. We have let's see, some engine parts like Borg Warner early on. Let's see how this thing's doing. Borg Warner, if we go to the weekly, this is something we want to look for here. Let's see. If you can see the monthly, you can see this broadening formation here. Like so. It expanded to the downside, then comes back inside on the month, and now comes ripping back through. So we want to see if we can take this and have this become an outside bar of all that. I'll take it further out on the weekly so you can see that. Borg Warner, like so here, right? Here's your broadening formation. Here's your attempt. And now here's your thwart coming back. And now you got an inside weak here to try and take it back up there. Borg Warner with MGA. Here also having a nice day. And you can see the similar here. MGA, right? You don't have your inside, but you got a lot of continuity. You're bright green here. You're coming back into a previous range, right? Down the lower middle. Take all that stuff out. And there's your broadening formation on the weekly MGA. Also, we've been watching some of those industrials because we know the Dow Jones industrial average is inside month to the upside, lower middle, right? And we talked about the XLI as well. Going inside, keeping an eye on industrials. Once again, these hourlies just completely drying up right now is the problem. We did have some of these guys like Emerson Electric starting to come up, and now an inside 60 just kind of getting stuck there. But once again, in the upper middle, you can see the broadening formation up into here, right? Now coming up on that. If you go to lower middle, what do you see? The inside month there coming back up. That signal's still good. Eaton Corp ETN was coming up here. And once again, here's another broadening formation. If you didn't watch the epic poem, about 6, 7, or 8 hours of broadening formations, that's why they're all drawn. They're on my Smiths and the Black Ticker Talker, and I did them last month. So you can help see these things because this is how you gauge magnitude, right? You also have your inside month in the lower middle, right? Is that a buy signal? It is, right? Now, like just stalling out here like the broader averages, so we'll see. Triple M in the Dow, and here's something else. Here's, once again, the broadening formation in here, higher highs and lower lows, and now coming back through it after the slight lower low there. And if we blow that up for you, like so, you're going to see the outside, inside, boom, right? And that's what we look for. They're willing to pay up and sell down. Then they met in the middle, boom, took them out. So that was also like a cat tractor. However, cat tractor, you can see a bunch of these things just gapping and stalling. But cat, the outside, inside, and up. That's exactly what we look for. We're just getting stalled out on the intradays all. If we go to XRT Retail, and XRT Retail's had quite the recovery, and on this formation here, if you look at the monthly, look at this. Does this look like all these charts I just showed you? It does. Here's your inside month and coming all the way back through the range, right? Here's another thing that you look for, right? The inside bar month, called the old high too. Boom. The inside bar month called the low and coming back through. Going down the food chain on this one a bit, but CONN. And CONN, you can see how this big formation used to be somebody we like to call that. Now inside in the 60 if you go in the lower left, right? And upper middle, you can see one inside weak to the upside 2 weeks ago, right? And what that did here, if you go to the lower middle, you can see this is an inside month here to the upside buy signal on a percentage basis, real night, and then back into this one. So what you're going to notice in big trends, and what keeps people out of them, hard to stay short through this one right here, right? Here was your 2-2 reversal back up. Here was your inside month to the downside. Call that triangle day out because you go back to the broadening formation. You come back to the previous range, and you can see how it accelerates when it comes back through there, right? Because when it's red on all time frames coming back through there, you're stopping guys out, which is turning more people into sellers. That's why you want to look for that. If we go to RNG, and RNG, monthly a little choppy here. You can see this. They've tried. The good thing about something when you see a pattern like this, that means they've tried to hit it, and haven't been able to do that. And so then if you go here on the weekly in the upper middle, you can see it was an outside week and now it's coming back through again, right? So if they're willing to pay up and sell down and then they sold down and come back through, they might be willing to do it again. And so what that tells me is I can go looking for the daily, and you see this, the higher highs, the lower lows. Here's your broadening formation right there, and then boom, 2-2 reversal this morning. Kicks in at 271.29, trading 287.23. How many times can you go to the well? A lot. W. And if you've been with me for any amount of time, you know that we knew about this one. Here's your 2-2 monthly reversal here over 64.89, and now just still going. And so one of the things you can look for here, right, is when it gets green on the week and all this kind of stuff. And once again, outside bar in the day. So once it starts ripping through here and stays green on the 60, it's going to take that out, and probably that, which it has. So now it just kind of stalls out up there. Just had the crowd picking up. We'll see what's going on here. The crowd was making a nice little move here. We'll see what it's doing. We'll see. But you can see here for maybe for tomorrow. You can see that. See this? Higher high, lower low, higher high, lower low. And then you can get your 2-2 reversal and back through here and try and change this weekly back green. It already took out the lows and now it's back in here. So to be back in a signal in the monthly, you'd have to retake something like that. KFRC. KFRC, another just runner installer. And one of the things we look for right here in the monthly, lower middle, to take out the highs, take out the lows. Boom. These become an outside bar of all that. Get. But right now the S&P SPY is still skirting the highs here, so it's not backing off, but it's just still kind of sideways. ALVR. An ALVR new issue, and let's see, that 60 just kind of stalls out on them, but this is what we like. This strong green trends and everything's green, and then you see if you can get yourself a better signal here on the 60 when things start to move around a little bit, if they do. HALL. And this thing just a little shenanigan or had a nice little run. We'll see if that sets up again. Just watching the percentage gainer list. Downside, we knew the IBB having some issues here and still inside weak and down. Not getting killed, right? Stalling out like a lot of things. But that does alert us to be looking at stuff over there. And so if we go to BIIB, you can see this gap up and now coming back through it, right? That's good, right? Keep coming, baby. Keep coming. That would be nice. Albeit it took the month and up here, but this, when you have like green on the month here like that, like so, and then on the weekly here, but it's a gap. That might have been the exhaustion gap. I mean, the buyers might have been everybody who wants to buy got long up into here, right? And they're gone. As far as we know, whenever this weekly and daily and 60 are red, they're gone, right? And so you can see this dropping back in, BIIB. We had Netflix. Netflix not totally falling apart, but right now you can see this inside 60 right here in the lower left. Now, if that breaks to the downside, you'll notice that the monthly is red. The weekly is what we look for here. Inside bar, countered, boom, back through. That's RevStrat to see if you can take that down some further. And so now we'll see if that 60 reconfirms that, because it's similar to like ZM, that upper middle, inside bar, takes out one side, RevStrats, and takes these guys out. Now the question is, going to stay down there? Because unlike Netflix, now you have the chance, if you can get back below here, 237.20, then you're a 2-2 reversal on the month. So once again, on the 60s, a lot of things stalling out. So we'll see how that goes. If we go to EA, and EA, you can see this inside 60 in the lower middle, but you can see on the daily up into here, the broadening formation that is coming back through, right? If you go to the monthly in the lower middle, you're going to see that red. If you go to the weekly, you're going to see the 2-2 reversal here to try and become an outside bar of this stuff. So EA, you can always watch that with TTWO. And ATVI, right? It's important to know your correlations too about what's going on here. And you can see this also trying to go 2-2 reversal on the week. But right now, Q's trying to go to the highs, albeit still inside day. S&P still holding up in there. You had stamps coming down. And stamps, now like a lot of the 60s just getting stuck in here, but you can see this upper middle inside day to the downside. I believe we had a nice 15er to start the day here. Here, you see this inside 15 right there. That's a measured move, right? And so when it broke this here, below 268, pow, and this thing went down to 255.50 in 15 minutes. Q's going to the highs now. I'm trying to see what's going on here. SMH perking up just a tad. AAXN, let's see what this thing's doing here. AAXN now is firming up, just an inside day to the downside and taking out last week's and last month's lows. Always something we want to know about. In the trannies, UPS, profit taking day. We know this thing's had a heck of a run, all right? And because it's a Tuesday, now you can change that weekly back red here. You'll see in the upper middle. Here's your 2-2 reversal in UPS. Below 157 for the rest of the day. You're still going to have a tough time changing that monthly, but for today, when you see strength in the transports and then you see weakness in there, that's where they're going, taking profits. Let's see here. All right, so if we go back here to the SPY, like I said, we're stuck on this 60 but not backing off. All right, so we want to watch the strength and weakness as it starts to break. SMH here, still trying to get out of that 2-hour pattern, and here But really would get our attention here if you can take this out 170.44, and we can watch a bunch of them together. Right now, still a bunch of sideways, albeit Q's going towards the high. So we're going to let a lot of these ranges break, and then we will see the strength and weakness of what happens when they do. So if we start breaking into new highs, we want to see who doesn't or who does. And then if we start to fail back through there, we'll be looking for anybody taking out the morning lows. All right, once again, all my videos here at Ticker Talker are free on the Smith in the Black channel. I suggest you come see me, and tonight especially is Tuesday night, where we do the Strat Attack, and that's where we're going to break down a lot of these weeklies and monthlies for you, so you'll be ready for the rest of the week. That's going to do it for today. I'm Rob Smith, the Smith in the Black channel here at Ticker Talker with the Strat Time Report.